Alright, hey guys, it's Steve again, Interglobal Comics. So I was going to make another video on countries, different key comics from different countries. So today I'm just going to go quickly through Denmark. Yeah, this is obviously Punisher 129 from Denmark. This one was actually printed in the 90s, 1993. And I was under the impression that these would be pretty common to find, but another collector, he told me that these are actually pretty difficult to find and they weren't printed in very high numbers. This one I bought from a collector in Denmark, I believe, or one of the Nordic countries. The majority of the books I got from Denmark, I actually kind of cleaned out a Danish bookstore that had a bunch of stuff online for sale. So majority of this stuff I paid less than $20-30 a piece for. This one this one I think cost close to $100 or around there. But we'll move on to the next one. So we got House of Secrets 1. This is from 1972. Classic Neil Adams cover. Yeah, I'm not much of a horror collector, but this was cheap, and I said, why not? It's just a cool cover. And I know they printed this one in quite a few countries. So, you know, I just wanted a copy of it. We got X-Men 129. This was the first appearance of a couple different X-Men characters. I think, let's see, who was it? Kitty Pryde and Moira McTaggart, I think her name was, last name. But just a kind of a key book. This one kind of blew up in the last couple of years. The American version did. So I just, X-Men is kind of what got me into comic collecting. We've got Daredevil, first appearance of Bullseye. I don't remember the issue number. These used to be able to find real cheap. I remember buying a couple of these for just like $5-10. The bookstore I was buying from had like a bunch of copies of these, but I only grabbed a couple, sold a couple, and then kept this one. We've got ASM 361, first appearance of Carnage. This, I don't know, it's like a sticker on the bag. It's not on the comic. But this is a pretty nice copy. I believe I got this from a Nordic collector, not from the bookstore, and I think I paid around $80-90 for it. Yeah, nice and clean condition. Fortunately, after I guess the last Venom movie, pretty much all the Carnage books took a pretty big hit, and doesn't seem like too many people are into collecting them anymore. Here's a tough one to find, Ghost Rider 1. This is actually the back cover. These were like the flip books. Yeah, everyone knows the Marvel Spotlight 5, which is also the Werewolf by Night 1, and this one has this Werewolf by Night. I'm not sure which issue that is, but for me, the key is the back cover. So that's a pretty nice one, pretty good condition. Put that back in the bag in a minute. Alright, and then we've got Spider-Man, kind of like the whole Venom, what is it, 3 or 4 issues that people collect. So this kind of starts it, then we've got 78, 79 is 300, and then this 80 is 301. So I picked all those up from the bookstore for way cheaper than it would have been, I think, anywhere else. Although I think the 300 I might have gotten from a collector, but the other ones, and these didn't cost me too much. The print quality is pretty good. These I think have like twice the number of pages in them, so they're probably contain 2 issues per comic. All right, then we've got the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, Batman, older issue. This one I think was one of the more expensive ones I got from that bookstore. Even it has a tear in the cover, you can see up there. But this I think cost me about $30, somewhere around there. which, yeah, obviously is still extremely cheap compared to the US version, and probably what you would have to pay, you know, if you were going to buy this from another collector. Like, obviously, I got it cheap, but if I was to ever sell it, yeah, I think I sold stuff pretty cheap, but definitely not, you know, for what I buy it for. X-Men 101, first appearance of Phoenix, classic X-Men cover. These were printed later, I think in the 90s, but still great looking books. Here's one from the 60s. This is Tech 359, first appearance of Batgirl. This one, I've got almost all of my Techs 359s slabbed at this point, but this one is just pretty low grade, but I got it cheap. This one is actually an eBay find on American eBay, so I think I paid about $35–40 for it a few years ago, which, you know, still real cheap, but it was kind of before, you know, foreigns kind of picked up steam a little bit. Then we've got Daredevil, first appearance of Elektra. It's like a square bound. This book, you know, is not the best. It's got some dirt and stuff, probably cleaned off. But, you know, these, if you get them cheap, I just figured if it's key, just pick it up. You know, I'm not a big Elektra collector or anything like that, but just figured it's a key book. If I need to, you know, move some stuff later on, that'd probably be one of the first things to sell. Dracula 1 from Denmark. This one was I had one and I needed money for something else, so I sold it, and then luckily found another guy that was selling a lot of books. He sold me the Ghost Rider 1, Marvel Spotlight 5, and this for, I think it was around like $250, something like that. So it was pretty good deal, because I haven't seen too many of this Dracula 1 come up for sale. I just like the logo on these. It just looks really cool. You got Hulk Annual. This was kind of like the one where they used the original Steranko face. You know, cool book. You know, these were always printed quite a bit later than the actual Hulk Annual, so, you know, just keep that in mind if you're buying one, that these were printed in 1984 as opposed to the Hulk Annual, which was printed, you know, quite a bit before that. But it's just cool. The history behind it's really cool. All right, and then next we've got Giant Size X-Men 1 from Denmark. And this one is, you know, another one that was printed kind of in the early 90s, 1993, it says there. But these can, you know, still pretty difficult to find in decent condition. So yeah, this is one of the ones I picked up from the bookstore. So, you know, I got lucky to get it, I think, for probably $15–20. You know, if you were to buy this from a collector, yeah, more than likely you'd be spending at least $100–200, I would think. So, you know, I got a good deal on it, and just a cool book. One I got considered getting slabbed, but it's pretty low grade, so I decided against it. All right, and then the last of the Raw comics is this Conan 1. This one I got fairly inexpensive, pretty low grade, but just a good looking book. This is more just a cover buy than anything. And these were printed early on. I don't know how to pronounce the title, but they had a number of, you know, key books in this run. So it was just kind of a cover buy, but it does contain Conan 1 inside. All right, so that is all of the Raw books. Next I've got a couple slabs. So this is Batman 181 from Denmark, 8.0, so real high grade copy. This was from, it doesn't say the year on the cover, but this was from 1967. Yeah, so high grade copy, real happy to have gotten it. Got this in a trade with a Nordic collector. So yep, definitely a good book to get. For some reason CGC didn't notate that it's the first appearance of Poison Ivy, And I believe the reason they didn't do that is because it's the second story in the comic, and I don't think they took the time to actually look to the second story, and so it should have the notation, but this one doesn't, unfortunately. All right, then we've got kind of the most well-known, I feel like, of the Danish books, which is the Werewolf by Night. Oops, sorry, I got my press going here. Werewolf by Night 1, which more importantly has Marvel Spotlight 5 on the back cover. This is considered a flip book, and I've reached out to Matt Nelson a couple times, and he said they have no problem slabbing these with the Marvel Spotlight 5 on the front, which unfortunately I've sent in 2 now, and they didn't do it for either of them. But I know Josh, he was able to get one that was flipped. So if you're slabbing this book, you can definitely ask for it. I'd prefer probably the Marvel Spotlight 5 on the cover, but it does look a little weird because it does say Werewolf by Night 1 on the front. But these were printed in 1972, and it says, it does tell you right there that contains Marvel Spotlight 4 and 5, and then Werewolf by Night 1. And the final Danish book I have is the Tomb of Dracula 10, 6.5 white pages, from 1973. These are pretty difficult to find. I got lucky, was able to find a duplicate copy just this year. I sold to a collector that really wanted to build the Tomb of Dracula 10 set. So I sold that to her a few months ago, but this is my original copy I've had for years, and believe it or not, I only paid $40 for this one, even just maybe 3 or 4 years ago, from a collector in one of the Nordic countries. His name is Morton. So great, I was very happy to get in early on some of this stuff, because $40, you'll more than likely not be finding one for that cheap anymore. But that is it for Denmark. I was going to include, I got a couple books from Egypt, but I didn't pull them out. So that'll be on the next video. So this one is just the books that start with, or countries that start with D. So Denmark is all I got. All right, have a good one. Bye.